Hello. So, my day ain't quite finished, but I'm midway through. I'm not tired. I'm in good spirits. I'm learning how to stay mute and stay to myself, which brings today's video because I just ain't got time for a lot of shit. But I'm gonna keep this one positive because I'm not gonna dwell on what people tell me, because I know if I did have a negative energy, then I know I could grow from it. But anywho, so I guess I want to get off my chest that I've realized over the last few days I have been through a lot of hurt that I have ignored, and I ain't gonna say I overlooked, but I buried it so I wouldn't have to re-feel those feelings or re-experience that hurt. I didn't know how bad it was until I was talking to my friend from work, the old guy, and I'm liking him, but this is what it is. So we talked about our past, and we talked about how I had to go to the shelter and how we slept in my mom's car, how we was running from my dad, how we had to move to Mount Clemens in the shelter, and then he found us out there, and we had to move in the middle of the night to a couple shelters. Talked about my experience at Doorstep, which was terrible because I had to be like 7, 8, and Doorstep is like right on Woodward, which is like closer to downtown Detroit, and it was a terrible shelter, homeless shelter. It was for men and women. You had a curfew to come in. They had to check your bag. If you wanted anything that you didn't want them to discover, you had to put it in the kids' bag. People were stealing your stuff. The food was terrible. We literally went to Burger King and McDonald's and stuff to eat. After my mama got tired of us we couldn't really sleep. Like, me and my sister would sleep, but my mama wouldn't sleep because people was stealing. They was molesting people. Like, it was crazy in the shelter. You got to get up a certain time for them to eat. And it's like, you don't even want to go down there for breakfast, because we tried to eat the breakfast. And my sister picked up her bowl. Well, she went to pick up her spoon, and the whole bowl came with her oatmeal. And that's when we left. My mom was like, we're not dealing with this. And we left. So we started sleeping on my mama's car. Now, when I was a kid, I knew it was something wrong, but I didn't think it was that bad until I was having regular conversation with somebody, and they asked me, like, how are you able to be that strong? Because he asked me, like, are you crying? I'm like, no, that's not a reason to cry. Like, I'm not sensitive about it or anything, but it's like, I'm not about to cry over that. That happened so many years ago. And back then, I didn't even know that it was something wrong, you know? I just thought we was running for our lives. Well, we was running for our lives, but I really just thought that's all it was. Like, we had to hide in those places so he won't find us. Not knowing that that's not a good environment to take your kids. And when we went to Mount Clemens, it was like, it might have been a little bougie. It was decent, but they was racist. So I got to experience racism at like 7 or 8. I went to school with all the white kids. It was only like a few of us black kids back then. One of my closest friends was a little white girl. She was like super small, super short. She had like her nerdy glasses. She was very smart and bright. She was always my partner in all my classes, so I clung to her because she was different. She wasn't a jock or a know-it-all. She just was like me, broken. Her mama, I don't know. I know her mama used to work, And all I know about her mom is that her mom used to get jumped on by her mama boyfriend, and that the mama boyfriend used to get mad at the mama and take it out on the little girl, which was my friend. And she got her arm broke by her mama boyfriend. And I decided to stay her friend because she needed somebody to talk to, and I needed somebody to talk to because I've been in her situation. I just ain't had no broken bones. Like, I've been whooped with a bullwhip before. I've been hog tied with a stitcher cord and whooped with another stitcher cord. I've been choked off my feet because I couldn't learn the ABCs. I kept skipping J, K, and L, which J really pissed him off because it starts with my name. My name starts with a J. And it's like, how could you not get the alphabet, but you could spell your name? So yeah, my daddy choked me. And when my mama tried to help, my daddy jumped on her. So when he did it again, she didn't move. She just let him choke me out. And I understand from her end because she did try to fight the first time. So it's like the second time, you know not to, them hits hurt. You know not to put yourself back in that position. And it's like, speaking all that out, if I was a random person listening to my story, I probably would have felt some type of way about me. I probably would have looked at me different, like, how is you making it this far with all that going on when you was younger? Like, how is you not out here tricking and selling your body? And I don't know. It's just something in me always say do the right thing. And I try to do the right thing and I still go wrong. So like, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I fuck up. I don't always live on the right side of the law. I have my backgrounds, but for the most part, like, I try to correct it early. And when I catch on to something not being right and it's like a problem or, you know, frowned upon, I ain't gonna necessarily say frowned upon because I really don't give a fuck about that part, but when it's not the right thing to do, I always search for the right thing. Because I like to be on the right side of the law. It feels better. Like, there's no worries and you could live more free. So with me doing that, I get labeled like I think I'm better than people. But it's like, if you really know where I come from, like deep down, like for real, without me deferring the conversation and really speaking on what happened to me growing up, you will understand me a little bit more. Like, my first 3 years of life, a lot of people don't know I didn't live with my parents. My mama went through postpartum depression, and I kind of think my daddy did too because I was a girl. But I know my mama going through postpartum depression. I lived with my aunt, which I love and wish I could have been more closer to, which I am gonna work on that because she's still here and I want her to know I love her. But I lived with my auntie from a baby all the way up until, I want to say, well, I was a year old when she took me back home, but she would only take me home on the weekends because I had asthma. So I didn't fully move back into my parents' house, from what I heard, until I was 3. So I was like my auntie's daughter, and she was protective over me, but she just had to get me back to my original parents, which I adore and I appreciate. But that alone is part of the reasons I have the relationship with the people I had the relationships with. Like, not in no romance type of relationship. It's just like relatives, friends. It's from my past, but it's not. It's really more so my decisions. Like, my past, I can't lie, my past is very fucked up. At the age of 7, my mama get in trouble. I was in trouble. If I got a whooping, my mama got a whooping. When we left home, my mama was, well, I ain't gonna say was, my mama realized she couldn't beat my daddy. So when he found us in the shelter and took us from her, because I had to go to school, We went to school in the city again. My daddy ended up getting custody of us. And my mama was trying to fight to get us back. But because he was abusive, she could never get a hold to us. So we lived with my daddy probably like 4 to 6 months before he left. Probably like, it wasn't even a good year. It wasn't even a full year. I just remember it was summer. She dropped us off to see him. He never gave us back. When she tried to come back and get us, he shot at her and my auntie. Yeah, it was crazy. Because my daddy stayed in the house that we grew up in. My mama had to leave, of course, because we coming back from the